Everyone wants to take their business, their skills, to the next level. Small and mid-sized business owners have exceptional insight into how to do this. They endure and thrive because they find ways to overcome the challenges that come their way, and they can teach us valuable lessons to apply to our own companies and lives. Stephen Nooner, founder and owner of Alkali, a company with a unique process that helps businesses more effectively buy and manage their insurance programs. And Bob Gibbons, builder of Riata Commercial Realty, a real estate advisor and tenant advocate, are two prominent Metroplex businessmen who, along with their weekly guests, will ask their and your probing questions, finding impactful solutions that will help you reach for the next level. Here are your hosts, Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons.
Welcome, everyone, to The Next Level, Conversations That Propel Business. I am Stephen Nooner.
And this is Bob Gibbons.
And we've got a great show for you today. But before we get to our special guest, what is The Next Level? What's this about? Well, we are all here to have fun and meaningful conversations where we can learn and grow from each other. The slightest tweaks will take us to the highest peaks, as my pastor says. So we're all about learning from each other and trying to elevate all parts of our lives. Before we get started, we always like to start off with someone else's wisdom. And our guest had a great quote, and it was from Andy Warhol. And it is, "Making money is art, and working is art, but being good in business is the most fascinating kind of art."
That's kind of interesting to me because Andy Warhol, I mean, he's really one of those pop artists that was really able to make a lot of money while he was still living. You know, usually the artists have to die to make any real money.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of interesting because you wouldn't think that the artist would be all that focused on the business of art.
Well, what I took from it is that there's businesses, art and craft or science or whatever. I mean, there's certain parts like, well, we need so many leads to have so many opportunities, and so many opportunities can turn in. But then what about your messaging? What about your product? Is it the right product? There's a art to it.
So many aspects of it.
So many aspects of it.
Interesting.
I think the art gets overlooked.
Well, cool. Well, speaking of art, we have as a guest today Mark Liberio, who's the managing member and producer for Tetra Media Group. Tetra Media Group is a script-to-screen video production company. I guess that means they do everything. That's what it sort of sounds like to me. Mark and his partner, Dan Donahue, are the owners of Tetra Media Group. They're based in Plano, Texas, and they've been around since about 2005. And they do all kinds of video production. And a couple of things that were distinguishing about them is that Tetra Media Group was awarded an honorable mention at the 2010 LA Reel Film Festival for their documentary One Day Only.
Very nice.
And Dan Donahue was awarded the Small Business Person of the Year award from the Plano Chamber of Commerce in 2014. So well-connected guys and respected in their industry. So welcome, Mark.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Welcome. And we like to start every show with some gratitude. So what are you thankful for right now?
Well, I'm always thankful that I'm working in a business that I love to do. And a lot of folks say, well, how did you get into that? We run into a lot of clients say, how did you get started in that? And the funny thing is I'm one of those flukes of nature, I think, that I actually studied this when I was in college. And I did what I studied for. And
wow.
I actually did some work while I was in college to do it. So I'm really thrilled to be able to do something I love doing. Certainly I'm grateful for the support I've always gotten from my family, my loved ones, and I'm grateful too in the industry. I'm grateful for YouTube and high-speed internet because they've made video very commonplace today.
That's totally transformed your industry.
It certainly has. It was interesting. Back around 2000, I was working in the corporate world. I was trying to get our company we had done some testimonial videos from franchisees. I was trying to get them to put it on our website, but you wouldn't believe how difficult it was back then. They didn't want, because YouTube wasn't around then.
Yeah.
Vimeo wasn't around then. None of those. Facebook wasn't around then. And it was really hard to do because they said, well, if we put it on our website, it's going to tie up our server, people watching that video, so we couldn't do it.
Wow.
So now just think today, 2015, how commonplace that is.
So take us back a little further. I know you went to Xavier University.
Correct.
And so were you a radio, TV, film maker?
Yeah, I was a radio, TV, film guy, and it was funny. And no offense to the radio folks, but everybody wanted to be in radio in those days.
Jack's listening to you in the sound booth there.
And I really didn't want to have anything to do with radio. I wanted to be in television.
You may edit this out, but keep going.
So it was funny because there weren't a lot of folks that wanted to be on the TV side. So I got to work in the TV studio. I got to work with cameras. I got to work with editing systems a lot. And it came in very handy because when I graduated from school, there was a job opportunity that opened up, and they contacted Xavier and said, "You got anybody?" And I think I was at the top of the list, and so I got a job right out of college.
Wow!
And it was unusual in those days, so it worked out.
Do you? I mean, I don't know that there's an answer to this, but do you think that any part of the video and the catching on has also been with the shift in the comfort of kind of American society, with us being just more and more comfortable with pictures and videos being taken of us? Because I mean,
horse question.
My grandparents would not have wanted video of them out in a public way, no matter what it represented. And the mindset is so different now. Do you think the video created it? Again, I don't know if there's an answer.
Well, I think
I'd love to hear your thought.
I think we're all visual to begin with. I think we all tend to be drawn to visual messaging, even going back, if you go back to the Neanderthal years, they were telling stories with cave drawings. And so it's not something new. When television came to being after World War II, there was a big flock to that, to messaging through television. And it didn't kill radio, it didn't kill the newspapers. Those still existed, but I think it's just natural that we're more drawn to visual storytelling, whether we're in it or not. But we're more interested in seeing that kind of thing.
Full disclosure for our listeners: Tetra Media Group is the video editing company for the Next Level show. So thank you, Mark. You do all of our videos for us, and we appreciate you doing that.
All the editing you especially do on Bob. Just kidding.
Yeah, drawing mustaches on me and such. But I guess where I was going with that is, we kind of did some testing, and early on we sent out some emails to family members and friends, and we gave them the video and the audio links. And without exception, everybody clicked on the video. Nobody seemed to only want to listen to the audio. But I noticed it's a different experience when you listen to the audio by itself versus the video.
Correct.
One's multisensory, one's not. And what tell us about the evolution of that? And do you have any stats or any kind of information on how the world is changing?
Well, a couple things. One thing I learned early on, that if you combine senses, meaning you can see and hear things, it's much more likely you're going to remember them. And I think that's one reason video is effective. They say there's the stats out there say that after 3 days you remember 10% of what you read, 20% of what you hear. 10% of what you see, 10% of what you hear, 20% of what you see. But when you combine those two, it's 65% of what you see and hear.
Wow.
So that in itself means that it has a lot more impact. The stats out there that support video in today's messaging and today's marketing online are pretty staggering too. I think in any given month, they say there's over 40 billion viewing sessions online.
Wow.
Just in this country alone. That's people, meaning there's about 180 million internet users in this country, 180, 190. And they spend a lot of time online watching video.
Which is why we're having so much challenge with productivity these days.
Yeah, could be.
Well, Bob kind of mentioned that you had done some work for us, and we appreciate the work that you guys do. what other types of projects that what are some of the other ways that companies can engage your firm in the work that you guys do?
Well, we do, from the top, we do a lot of online marketing and broadcast commercials. We do a lot of that. Now,
which looks like,
for example, on the broadcast side, we do a lot of small retail commercials, 15-second commercials for companies. And they may air on local cable channels in different neighborhoods throughout the DFW area. So we do a lot of that. We do a lot of online commercials that they're not necessarily 15 seconds, but they're anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 or 4 minutes, and people use them on their Facebook page, on their website. All of the social media applications like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they're all promoting. They all have their own video applications now. So there's just a multitude of ways that businesses can use video to tell their message.
So how is video changing right now, and particularly drones? What is your take on drones? I mean, is that a good thing, a bad thing? Is it going to be heavily regulated by the FAA or what?
Well, we have a service. We have aerial service. We have a drone. So we've done some work with some companies, golf courses, a company that does window washing, high-rise window washing. But I think what happens is you got people out there that are misusing it. They're flying too high. I think FAA is regulating it. There's certain regulations you got to follow. You can't be so high. You can't be within an airport and things like that. And certainly there's privacy issues you got to maintain. So I think it's going to get more and more popular because the views you get from it are outstanding. They're just they're unique, and they really make an impact on the viewer.
Now, one of the things I've heard you mention was that video is really something that can help businesses go exponential. Can you kind of describe what you mean by that?
Well, you get much more reach, I think, with video than you can. First of all, because you got people that will remember you, that know you. You get that, for example, a small business owner, if you want to be in the video, people get a personal touch. They can get a personal touch of what you can do. But with social media, you can reach, hundreds and thousands of people that you could never reach before. And now you've got that vehicle of video that helps people remember you better. It's just a great combination.
Very cool. So do you have a particular favorite place online to post videos?
Well, now what's really gone improved is because Facebook, it's funny because they don't like you putting YouTube videos on Facebook. Facebook doesn't like you doing that. So what you can do now is you can upload your video, and you can always do this directly to Facebook, but they've got some great analytics now that can tell you how many people are viewing it, and they've got a great way to reach people through their purchased advertising. So I'm leaning towards Facebook as just being a great vehicle to promote your video, your company with video.
Okay.
What do you do when you're on an important shoot for a client and the video camera gets stolen?
I hate to even think of that.
Stick around and find out.
And now, Confessions of a Recovering Landlord.
This is Bob Gibbons with Riata Commercial Realty, and I am your recovering landlord. After 20 years as a landlord, I now use that experience only for the benefit of companies that lease or buy office buildings and warehouses. Today's confession: knowledge is power. We all negotiate from a position of power and strength, or at least we want to. In any negotiation, the party with the most knowledge probably has the upper hand. And landlords count on this being the case whenever you're negotiating a lease, because most landlords are professional real estate investors and they hire professional leasing agents and property managers. Landlords are in the market every day negotiating leases, while tenants probably only negotiate 1, maybe 2 leases every few years. So tenants feel outgunned. Don't let landlords have all the power. As a former landlord for 20 years, I understand how landlords think and what motivates them. So let me put that knowledge and experience to work on your side of the negotiation. To learn more, contact me at texastenantrep.com. Again, that's texastenantrep.com.
Have you started making plans to take your business to the next level in 2016? Hi, I'm Stephen Nooner, founder and CEO of Alkali. We have a trademark process called the Empowered Advantage that enables CEOs, business owners, and entrepreneurs to more effectively buy and manage their insurance. Before sitting down to make your plans for the new year, here are just a few things to consider. Would you say that you have an actual insurance strategy, one that you can articulate, or have you just purchased a policy here and there over the years? If you have an insurance strategy, was it discussed under the pressure of a renewal deadline or considered earlier in the year to avoid fire drill decision making? If your answer was no to either of these questions, then you may not have the right partner on your team. Visit alkaliservices.com to contact us and take the next step to a bigger and better future.
Hi, this is Sean Teague, CEO and President of ManageWatch, and my time with Bob and Steve has been mostly pain-free.
Welcome back to The Next Level, conversations that propel business with our guest, Mark Liberio of Tetra Media Group. And you can find Mark on the web at tetramediagroup.com. And I wanted to correct something I mentioned in the introduction. I mentioned that Mark's partner, Dan Donahue, was the Small Business Person of the Year in 2014. It was actually both of them, Mark and Dan. So my apologies to Mark for that. And Dan stopped trying to take all the credit. So, Mark, one of the things I wanted to ask about was, with the internet and video, is it like the great leveler between big companies, small companies, medium companies? I mean, you can almost be anything you want.
Absolutely. We work with a lot of companies that, and you believe this, believe it or not, don't have websites. A lot of companies don't have websites. And they don't really have a huge marketing presence, but they may have a Facebook page, and they may have lots of likes, and they may have a lot of activity on their Facebook page. So what's this have to do with video? Well, you can use video on your Facebook page just like you do on your website. And yes, now these small companies can have a huge reach with video. They can produce a nice professional commercial, get their message across very cost effectively, and do a great job marketing so they can compete with the big guys.
Is there a methodology, or is this something that your clients normally hold themselves? Who measures ROI or how they're going to measure ROI? I would imagine that'd be a tough thing in your business.
Well, a lot of we've gone to some of our clients and we've asked them, did you get any feedback on the video? Have you gotten any feedback? He goes, and a lot of it is the video works in conjunction with your other marketing tools. For example, they went to the website, they watched the video, boom, that put them over the edge.
Gotcha.
Once I saw the video, I saw what you guys do, I got a feel for who you are, and then I went ahead and made the call, or I went ahead and I felt comfortable with you. So yeah, we've gotten a bunch of clients that have come to us and said that. And so to me, it does something that no other marketing vehicle can do.
Well, there's video on Stephen's website for his company. There's video on my website for my company. I've had you videotape me. Like I spoke to the Collin County Bar Association a few years ago, and you came and videotaped that. So then I could use that to slice and dice it, make it a podcast. Put it on my YouTube channel, whatever I wanted to. So it's amazing how, even if you're just having you're going to speak to all your employees with some sort of motivational session. Well, maybe that's something you want, or a training session. Right. Maybe that's something you want to preserve. Maybe it's not for the public consumption, right, but maybe it's for internal. Right.
And we do a lot of training related projects as well. And honestly, that's what I first started doing when I first started in this industry. I was doing training videos. So that goes back a long way. That companies have been doing that for a long time.
Was that on 8mm?
No. Actually, we use a format called 3/4 inch or U-matic, and that was very popular for a very long time in industry.
Well, and I can see that being in training specifically. Yes. You talk about scale, a company that's scaling up. Training challenges culture. That is hard to relay. I can see how video would be really, really powerful tool in that area. Switching gears just a little bit. So we like to talk about the wheel of life, and there's a really smart guy that used to be around named Zig Ziglar, and he talked about different areas of your life: career, social, financial, family, physical, mental, and spiritual. And then if any of these areas gets off of balance too much, it's hard to run down the highway with a flat tire. And so looking over the last year, what would be a high for you? Where's the tire really inflated?
I would say over the last year, a couple things have happened. Obviously, being presented with the Small Business Person of the Year was a big deal for us.
And that was you and your partner,
That's right.
just to clarify once again.
Bob's feeling kind of bad right now.
That was, I mean, that's a very elite group in the city of Plano, and we were very honored to be awarded that prestigious position. I'd say also the thing we're doing a lot more is the broadcast commercials. That kind of has leaped over the last year. I think we probably did about a dozen and a half last year, and this year we're going to be closing in on doing 80 or 90 of them.
Oh, so wow.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Congratulations.
And I think part of it is, the reason is because once you do a couple and you show some of these other small retailers and they say, gee, I like that. I want to do something like that. And it's pretty cost effective. So I think that's been part of it. And again, I would say that I think we're getting to a point now where people understand that video is you really got to have it if you want to have a marketing impact.
Especially with all of us, with all of our mobile devices now,
Sure.
and this pickup of speed on the internet there,
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
Right.
Let's switch gears a little bit. How about a low? Any places where the tire's been a little underinflated?
Well, I would say what the challenge we have is a lot of times is you get working on your business, working in your business type of thing is always a challenge. When there's two of us doing most, we both do production, we both do everything from script to screen, like we mentioned before. But to get out there and promote it, to market, to do the sales, to do the day-to-day stuff that keeps you in front of mind of people is always a challenge. As far as any one single thing that's been a downer, I would say over the last year, I would just say we've lost some projects that I thought we should have gotten, that I wanted to get, and mainly the reason we get it, sometimes we bid through a third party. We bid through a contractor. They may be doing a huge project, and part of it is the video component of that. And we submit our bid to them, and then they submit it, and then they don't get it. So it's kind of out of our hands. But sometimes those are nice size projects.
So your perceived value is really hinged upon might get lost in the overall proposal.
Right.
So how do you manage that?
Well, you don't win them all. Sometimes I get frustrated because we don't win them all, and I think we should. I know.
If people were as smart as you think they are, they'd hire you every time.
That's right. That's right. But that's just part of life, and you pick it up and go on, and you understand that. I think we win more than our fair share.
So help me understand, in that kind of situation where you're part of a team, is that coming from like an advertising agency or from a larger production company, or
it might be from an advertising agency, but a lot of times they're from a lot of these bigger projects are training related, and they may be providing an extensive training proposal for a big company, like we've done stuff for Siemens and FedEx before, where the video component is just part of it. They've got trainers on site, they've got manuals that they're putting together and things like that. So we get some of those, and we don't get some, but a lot of them, and some of them may involve travel. But we get. I think, like I said, I think we get our fair share. It's just that sometimes I get frustrated when we.
So I was just going to ask you if you guys go out of town, or do you just stick to the DFW area?
No, we've done some out of town projects. We were just down in San Antonio, which wasn't a big trip, but we've gone to Chicago and to DC and to San Francisco on some projects.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, let me know if you need me to carry your bags.
Yeah,
when you go
I
there
will.
again.
Okay.
Well, let's.
After you insulted him, maybe that may not go so well.
So, what's one of the biggest breakdowns that's turned into a breakthrough?
Well, a few years ago, and it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we were on a project at a local arena. We were shooting a sports event, and we had one of our cameras stolen. We were doing like a 3-camera shoot, and we had one of our cameras stolen, and it was just, I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but it did. And when we discovered it was stolen, we thought, well, we had to go back the next week and do another shoot. And we were able to get another camera in the meantime, but we filed a police report, and then we said, well, we couldn't be sure exactly how it happened, but since we filed a police report, we were able to go and file an insurance claim, which is interesting because our businesses that we're in, we run into folks sometimes that they're just kind of freelancing and they don't cover the right insurance, but it certainly pays that you have the right insurance.
So what was what was the positive that comes? The
positive
through?
Is that we replaced that camera. We were just shooting in standard def at the time. We replaced it with an HD camera. We've never gone back. We thought we were going to do that transition. We were thinking about we got to do that transition sometime soon to HD, but it's not just a camera. You got to transition. You got to transition your editing system and a lot of other things. But so that kind of forced our hand, and we're very grateful that it did. And once it's like. Once we shot some stuff on HD, I'm like, I can't go back. Come on, it looks so much better.
Oh yeah, it's like watching TV right now. On my cable system, I've got the HD and I've got the regular channels. Yes. And if I accidentally end up on one of the regular ones, it's like, oh, that's horrible.
How did we do that?
When you mention the insurance, so often we see, even people that properly insure their things, a lot of times if they're not communicating with their agent, they buy a piece of equipment, sell a piece of equipment, that can create problems too.
Right.
So kudos to you guys for being on top of your strategy there. And then it sounds like you bought the gift that kept on making you buy stuff.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Well, going to 80, 90 commercials in 1 year. That's amazing.
And we've added another HD camera since then. So we're not. You're right. We're not going back.
Forward.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Well, I think what's next is we want to. We certainly want to build on our successes, and we want to build on a lot of the. We've been working with a lot of small companies. We've been doing a lot of shorter projects to try and get them to help them understand that this should be part of their strategy. And I think we're going to go forward with doing more of that. We're a member of the Plano Chamber of Commerce, which has been very helpful to us as far as getting involved in the community. But I think we want to try and do that in a larger demographic around the DFW area and try and get folks more into using video for the marketing.
So if somebody's thinking about going into video or using video to market their company, should they go with comedy or serious education of their consumer?
I would think comedy's real tough. I really think that's a difficult thing to do. If you do it wrong, it can backfire. I would just keep it simple and try and tell your story, tell why you are unique. Why you are different, what makes you what's your unique selling proposition. You can do that with video, and it makes a big impact on your customers, on your prospects.
Yeah, I've found that what I think is funny sometimes just falls totally flat with other people, and Steven's here to remind me of that on a regular basis. So,
and vice versa.
So comedy can hurt you. That's for sure.
Well, we'd like to just thank you, Mark, for coming in today and just all of the great work that you guys do for the next level. If you'd like to get in touch with Mark, please visit tetramediagroup.com. If you'd like to watch this or share this with other people, it will be on nextlevelshow.com as well as Facebook. There's probably someone out there in your world that could benefit from listening or hearing about Mark's experience and hearing about Tetra. So help us spread the word, and have a great, blessed week.
See you next week.
You have been listening to The Next Level, Conversations That Propel Business with Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons. Join us every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. for more prolific conversations that will take your business to the next level.